Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do today is we are going to add a lesson in our interactive notebooks, and as always we're going to fill in the table of contents first. So today's date is January 9th. The lesson you're going to learn about today is how to write and solve linear equations. And we should have room to tape this in to page 45 and 46 when you're finished taking notes today. Writing and solving linear equations is going to require us to do quite a few things. They're not difficult, we just have to remember to organize ourselves so that we can go ahead and solve the equation correctly. The first step is to draw a picture. The second step is to define whatever variable you decide to use. So you can use x, you can use n, it's totally up to you, but you have to represent what it means. You're going to come up with an equation based on your knowledge of geometry, and there's some vocabulary words that we're going to go over. You're going to solve that equation, you're going to write a sentence answer, and you're going to check your work. So the first example we're going to work on together today is the measure of one angle is described as 12 more than 4 times a number. Its supplement is twice as large. Your job is to find the measure of each angle. The first thing I'd like you to do is underline your vocabulary word here. Supplement is very important in this question because supplement is very similar to the word supplementary. And we need to remember that supplementary angles add up to 180 degrees. This piece of information is going to help us write our equation. What we want to do is now draw a picture. Since we know the angles are going to be supplementary, supplementary angles typically look like this. This is going to show a total of 180 once we're done assigning expressions to the angles. So what we are given in the very beginning is that the measure of one angle is 12 more than 4 times a number. So we are going to have to use a variable to represent what this mysterious number is. So I'm just going to say n is that number. 12 more than 4 times the number is going to look like this. 12 more than 4 times the number. That would represent one of your angle measures. The other angle is told to be twice as large. So you can see the way I labeled my diagram is not realistic as to what's going on, but that's okay. As long as you have a diagram and you understand there's 2 angles, we are going to take this angle and we are going to double it. We're going to multiply it by 2. So we could either use parentheses showing that we multiply it, but we know that this is the same thing as 24 plus 8n. It may be easier to use the 24 plus 8n. So 24 plus 8n is going to represent one of our angles, 12 plus 4n is going to represent the other, and we're ready to write our equation. We know these angles are supplementary, so we are going to show that these angles add up to 180. From here, finishing the problem is usually straightforward because you know to combine like terms and you know to use opposite operations in order to solve. So it looks as though we're getting a value that comes out to be 12. We combined, we got 12n. We knew we had to subtract 36 from both sides, and we now have n equals 12. We aren't completely done with this question because our job was to find the measure of each angle. So you're going to start a sentence answer. The measure of each angle is, and remember there are 2 values that we're looking for. One angle measured 12 plus 4 times n. So we're going to do a little bit more math down here. We know that the first angle is 12 plus 4 times n. n is really 12. So you're going to multiply 4 times 12, and then you're going to add 12. So this should total up to be 60 degrees. If one of your angles is 60 degrees, some of you might remember that the other angle now will have to be 120. They must add up to 180. The other way you can come up with the second angle measure is remember the clue up top. It said the other angle is twice as large as the first one. So if your first one is 60, your second angle has to be 120. Make sure that you have all of your notes done for this question because you are eventually going to tape this on page 45 in your ISN. Before we get out the tape, you're going to watch the next video, which is going to go over examples 2, and then you'll do example 3.